I'm Neil. I have been climbing for way over 10 years. Form kind of goes up and down in there, but over 10 years. Try to get out climbing as often as I can, but try and get out 2 or 3 times a week, maybe, in a good week. Obviously we're in Cumbria, so it's weather dependent, definitely.
Name's Ian Newby, been climbing on and off for around 15, 16 years now. Mainly in the UK, what's known as traditional climbing. Done a bit of sport climbing, a bit in Europe. Yeah, love it.
I'm James, and I'm a Lake District climber. Although you could call me an esoteric Lake District climber, because for some reason I seem to like climbing in these sort of places that are falling down. So all these old slate quarries in the Lake District. We climb all over the UK really, but I think I've got a soft spot for Lake District climbing, besides the fact that it's quite local and easy to get to. I think the Lake District is a special place because there's quite a lot of variety here in quite a compact area.
If you just look where we are now, we're in Hodge Close, and it's big slate quarry, and you could easily within 25 minutes of here be up on some mountain crag over in Langdale or something like that. So the variation's massive compared to anywhere else in England for sure, and arguably the rest of Britain. James is into finding new routes and new climbs around the South Lakes. There's a lot of stuff to be going at. Tends to be me and Newby at the minute that seem to be dragged along into this. He'll go out and find something. I mean, I was up alongside the A591 the other week in the absolute pissing rain looking for bouldering problems up on a hillside, and I have no idea how I got roped into that. And he's kind of the leader of our silly little gang, so he drags us in to these adventures. He's definitely put up some decent boulder problems, a lot of decent routes around the South Lakes area for sure.
I think I'm the West Cumbrian idiot, or numpty maybe, I don't know. Certainly the stupid one of the group maybe.
You end up discovering new pieces of rock that haven't really been climbed before, and you ask questions like, oh, has that been climbed? And you do a bit of research and it turns out it hasn't, so that, for me, that's it's like a new adventure. I've unearthed quite a few things that turn out to be first ascents. Some of them are easy, but I guess if it's not about the grade and it's about the adventure, then maybe you got something there.
It's quite a nice achievement to put up some new routes, new lines, especially in the Lake District. People's been climbing here for years, and there's still untouched rock, which is quite special really. Tourists who come to the area, they mainly go to Windermere, Ambleside, Keswick, some venture a bit further afield, but yeah, the majority stick to the main areas, and it's a shame because it's such a big place, something for everyone.
I think people look too far afield for the adventure when there's no need. There's amazing places on your doorstep. You live in Britain, live in wherever, there's something somewhere. Everybody misses out. There's so many things wherever you live. I mean, I've lived all over with the forces and stuff, and there's always something you can find, on your doorstep. So people miss out because they look too far. Like, think big instead of thinking of the big stuff you can do on the small scale in your own backyard.
I guess maybe 4 years ago things were all going wrong, and I think then is when I realised how therapeutic climbing can be. It's a bit of a break from the 9 to 5, but it also sorts your head out. I mean, you get so obsessive and focused on wanting to do something hard. There's a bit of a training element to be able to get up in the first place. So you sort of focus on that, and then you obsess about this route you want to do, and it really takes your mind off things that could be bugging you.
A guy I used to climb with called Pete a few years ago. I was climbing up on a place called Grey Crag. There were some climbers up ahead of us, and the rope flicked off a block. Hit him like square kind of head, shoulder area. It was pretty horrific, but yeah, I think that's kind of the nature of it. I mean, it's it's a calculated risk, innit? I guess you go out, you take every precaution, wear a helmet, try and get your gear in, do whatever. But it's the adventure, innit? It's like the reason you do that. If there were no risk, if that wasn't a part of it, then that's a massive like dynamic, massive part of that game lost, really.
That really messed me up, if I'm honest, and I had to disappear into a hole, literally, as it were, and go climbing for a while. But actually, I mean, that improved my climbing, because I think, as I say, you become so focused on it, you forget everything else. You just get absorbed by this sport, I guess.
I think it's been that thing in your life that's constant, really. I mean, I got into climbing in my early 20s, maybe a bit later, and then, you know, there's been like tours of Afghanistan, like marriages, divorces, diagnosed with PTSD, deaths, everything. So in the midst of all that shit, the one thing you want to do is get out and go climbing. And then the more you go climbing, the more kind of addictive that becomes. So if anything, it's probably made me a bit of a nightmare, because the better you get into it, and the more you go, the more you want to do. It's a really strange thing. It kind of absorbs everything. It absorbs like the way you think, and the focus in your life moves away from things like work. Work's there, and you work hard and do whatever else, but in the back of your mind, you know, you want to be out on the hills and on the cliffs and climbing and planning this next adventure. It's like, yeah, so if it's changed if it in any way, it's probably made me a nightmare to live with.
I think climbing definitely has changed me as a person, but I think it's really down to the experiences you have while you're climbing. Climbing can be dangerous, but you know, things like, you know, you've pushed above your weight on a route somewhere and you end up getting stuck. You can end up in quite scary situations, and I think, you know, you get out of those situations with your mates, and I think mentally it makes you quite strong, or a bit stronger than you were the previous time. And even down to just climbing hard routes, I think there's a bit of a belief that you can do harder things, and I think it definitely gives you a good strong head for dealing with things in life in general, really.